is A to Z with Mark Zinno, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, and it starts now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, where today I tell you, let's run it back again. Welcome in. We are live here on this Wednesday, a jam-packed show for you guys. We're going to celebrate the Braves NL East title. Yep, we got plenty to do there as well. The NFL loaded with mediocrity. Who separates the good from the bad? We'll do that. Plus, yes, last night was a historic night in Major League Baseball. We'll do all that and more coming up here on A to Z. Give us a follow on Twitter at LockedOnATL. Of course, I'm at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno. As well, we're on Roku TV every single day. If you got an Amazon Fire Stick, download that Roku TV app or wherever you can get Roku TV. And make sure you watch all the Locked On Sports Atlanta shows on Roku TV. All right, now that that's out of the way, Braves get a win last night and on the second to last day of the Major League Baseball season, they clinched the NL East title. They will have been in first place for approximately just 6 days of this entire Major League Baseball season. And yes, they are the NL East champs. Well deserved. This was a sort of historic thing that the Braves accomplished. Why? Because they won 70% of their games for the last 4 months of the season. That's just really impossible to do. I mean, think about it. You know, this was a clip that the Braves played at that the 98 Yankees played for 5 months of the season, right? Just insane sort of numbers. And that was a team that won 114 regular season games. And they had a bad August and September. That's how good they were for 4 months of the year. That's where the Braves were all year long. And it was just impressive to watch. You know, it was very much like, as the Braves and fans at Truist Park would understand, it was the freeze, man, right? They let the Mets get out to a big lead, came back and caught them, and here we are. So, that all said, the Braves have the fortunate pleasure now of setting up their rotation, their starting staff for the NLDS. They'll be fresh, they'll be rested, and the real question is now boils down to, can they do it again? Can they do this year what they did last year? Now, I've said repeatedly, and I told you guys this from the beginning of the year, it is incredibly tough to repeat as World Series champions. There is a reason why you haven't seen one since 1999 and 2000 when the Yankees did it last. It's super, super hard. That said, if there was any team poised in the last 22 years to repeat as World Series champions, it's this one. Why? Because there are arguments to say that this year's team is better than last year's team. And Jeff Schultz of The Athletic pointed out this very fact in his latest column that he wrote last night. And there are things worth 100%, diving into here. I don't think that anybody will dispute that this year's starting staff with Spencer Strider is better than last year's. It is leaps and bounds better than last year. Ian Anderson, who was part of the World Series run last year, will not get a World Series ring this year. Why? Because he pitches for Gwinnett. What you caught from him in a bottle last year is what you caught from him in a bottle. Clearly, that's not it anymore because he hasn't been the same guy all year long. But the health of this starting staff, as I've told you guys for a week and a half now, all depends on Spencer Strider. This staff without Spencer Strider is not better than last year's starting staff. It's about the same. Kyle Wright won 21 games. Okay, I don't see him as this dominant force that is unbeatable the way Fried and Strider are. That's just me. Morton is a coin flip at best. And we know that Jake Odorizzi is not going to touch a ball in the postseason, period. And for me, that's what this whole postseason hinges on, is this starting rotation. If I have Spencer Strider for all of it, I believe that they will win the World Series. The minute you lose him, the percentage drops precipitously, if you ask me. The bullpen, probably as good as last year's, probably as shaky as last year's. Kenley Jansen has made us sweat for the last month and a half. Will Smith did the same thing last year. But, who will be this year's Tyler Matzik in that bullpen? Is it Raciel Iglesias? Is it Matzik himself? Who is going to step up and be that lockdown guy in every high leverage spot that gets the ball and, gets you out of a jam? That's what you need to find out. And Snitker will find that out. Now, when you look at this team offensively and where they are, I would tell you that 1 through 9, this is probably a better lineup. You might have had a higher high with Freddie Freeman in the lineup last year, but the floor of this offense is much higher than it was last year. Now, I get Rosario is what he was last year and Jorge Soler is what he was last year, but, again, those weren't those guys during the regular season. I feel like what this offense put out during the regular season is what we're going to get in the playoffs. Just a very consistent team. Sure, they had games where they just didn't hit the ball and, they went through back-to-back stretches where they scored 1 run and 2 runs and lost 2 in a row. And while that's going to happen in the playoffs, guess what? It never was a prolonged stretch. This isn't an offense like the Yankees that can go stretches without scoring runs for 5, 6, 7 games in a row. There's too many good hitters, too many professional hitters in this lineup. And that brings you to the Freddie Freeman versus Matt Olson sort of debate of where these two guys are. And I'll tell you wholeheartedly, I don't think anybody misses Freddie Freeman. They just don't. I know what kind of year Freddie Freeman's having. Let's not underscore that for 1 second. Like, Freddie Freeman is having an amazing year. Amazing year. So it's not like, all of a sudden, Freeman became a bad player when he went to the Dodgers. He's batting .322 with 20 home runs and 98 RBIs. He's played 158 games this year. Probably has Gold Glove first base credentials. Got it. Now, still, this offense, I think, is better without him. And 1 through 9, I think it's better without him. Now, Matt Olson, who has been phenomenal all year long, did have a bad stretch into August and September. We know that. But, his playoff stats in 4 playoff series with the A's, 4 for 28. That's 143. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 11 strikeouts. According to my friend Carl Dukes of 92.9, that means he doesn't get to pitch or play in the postseason because he's never done it in the postseason. But, we can have that argument on Twitter, he and I. So, this is a better lineup 1 through 9 from top to bottom than last year. I love their chances. If Strider is healthy, I absolutely love their chances. I don't love it without him. I know you guys think I'm going over the top about Strider. I know you guys have been tired of hearing me talk about it. But if they win the World Series without Spencer Strider, it would be shocking to me. Because that 1-2 punch that you need is going to be very much a key part of getting through a team like the Dodgers in the NLCS. You just need to be better. That lineup is as professional hitting as the Braves are, and they will match you pitch for pitch. The Mets lineup, not as professional hitting. I shouldn't say that. The Mets lineup doesn't have as much pop in it from top to bottom. They need to play station-to-station baseball. And so whenever there's a break in that chain, in that link of the chain, the team suffers offensively. When you got guys that can mash the ball like the Braves and the Dodgers do, one bad pitch puts you right back in the game or puts you ahead. That's kind of just the way it goes. So sit back, relax, enjoy the next week, watch other teams struggle, watch the Mets sweat it out, and await the winner of the Phillies and the Cardinals. If it's the Cardinals, it's going to be a mash. The Braves might sweep that team. I genuinely believe that. If they get the Cardinals, they might sweep them. I might bet on them to sweep them too while we're at it. But speaking of betting, go to betonline.net. It's your fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs from your favorite sports and number one events. Go to BetOnline. You can get odds, lines, games. It's all right there. You find reviews and news of every single league, NFL and college football in full force right now. Major League Baseball playoffs are here. You get information there as well. NBA, NHL right around the corner. Combat sports, esports, even golf. It's all right there as BetOnline continues to be your top online resource for all your sports wagering information, live in-game betting news, scores and podcasts. They've got you covered with all of it. Head to BetOnline today. Use your mobile device to learn more about all the action that's happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts.